Hello and welcome back to my Dandelion Diaries. Today is another planner setup with you guys, and today is the Magic of I Pocket Astrology Journal. I think this book is so pretty. It is the pocket one, like I said, so it is actually like A6 size. It's pretty small. I mean, here's my hand in comparison. Like, it's a pretty tiny book. But I am planning on using this as my gratitude journal for 2024. I've gone back and forth on my channel before about gratitude journals and how I don't necessarily always feel there's a need for a whole book dedicated to this. But I feel like I need to kind of see where I am at mentally and be more appreciative of the things that I have and have a designated space for it, just instead of tacking it on to other things that I am doing. So like, not instead of having like a little section in my journal that I'm already journaling in, I will have a whole space dedicated to it and make it more important for me. I feel really weird about, like I said, a whole book dedicated to gratitude, but I want to try this for myself and see how I feel at the end of the year or 6 months in or whatever. And honestly, I really just wanted to get this book because I reference the astrology information in it daily. But this book is too small for me to journal in, and I'll explain that when we get further into it. Anyways, about this planner, like I said, it is the A6 or Pocket Magic of I Astrology Planner. This color is called the Mushroom color. It was a limited edition for this year, along with one of their, I think, dark green ones was the other one I was tempted to get, but I went with the Mushroom. It has foiled edges, foiling everywhere, and has this gorgeous soft vegan leather. I will say, if you're unfamiliar with this planner, it does have cream colored paper, so it is off-white. So since that's the case, everything I'm going to be using today is pretty much clear and pretty much PET tape. So just starting out with that right off the get-go. As with most of my setups, I will have timestamps down in the description of different sections of the book if you're interested in any one specific section. I'm going to try to do as much as I can with this with you guys, but I mean, there's not a whole lot for me to set up in this just because of how this planner is laid out. So with that, let's go ahead and just do the opening cover here. So I wanted to use my Rainbow 2024 die cut because I felt like the rainbow on the front, this is kind of like rainbowy, I don't know, I felt like it matched a little okay. And then I have these, I have two of these. I have a black and a white die cut from Lila Journals, and I kind of like this as like night and day. So I figured I'd do night in the front, or no, day in the front and then night in the back. So like starting at the day, closing at night in the back. So that's kind of what I'm going with for this. And then I really wanted to use more rainbow things because, I don't know, I feel like this needs color because it's really neutral. I don't know. But I was thinking I could kind of like play with these around in the back maybe and see how they look with all of that behind it. Ooh, that's going to be hard for y'all to see. It gets dark really early in Texas now, so my filming window becomes very short, so I have to turn a bunch of lights on, and that's going to make this difficult with all of these shiny things I'm going to be using. But hopefully y'all get to see most everything. Yeah, I kind of like that. So I'm going to stick all of those down, I think. Yeah. Well, let me cut out the circles. Okay, so I'm thinking, how did I have them? Kind of like this. Yes, I know it's going to cover up the Magic of I logo. I'm okay with that. Because the front of the book says Magic of I, and it says Magic of I plenty of times throughout the book. The question I have for myself is, do I want these to overlap at all? Or do I want to trim them to where they're like going off the page? I think I like them kind of like going off the page. So I'm going to stick those down first. We'll do this one first. Okay. And instead of cutting the edge, I'm gonna just fold it over just because why not? Well, we're just gonna do that instead of cutting them off because I feel like there's nothing really of value on this page for me anyways, and I don't mind that one bit. Okay, so I think that's all I'm gonna do here. The other thing I thought about doing is taking this sticker. So this is the sticker that came with my planner. It is huge. I mean, it is a big ass sticker. And I thought maybe I could stick it here in the front, but I think it's just too big. Like, I think it's just too big. And I thought maybe if I cut it in half, like do like half here kind of thing, and like half on the other side maybe. But I think it'll ruin the design on it because it's like constellations. So I'm just going to set this to the side and maybe I'll use it somewhere else, but I wasn't in love with it like that. Anyways, I'm going to leave this like it is and move on. So the next page in here that I'm going to do is my This Planner Belongs To page. I had this sticker that I wanted to put here because for some reason I have a blemish on my page, and I actually have a few of those throughout the book. I'm certain they are something I caused, probably with me thumbing through the pages too fast or whatever, but yeah, it was not like this when I bought it. I definitely did something to it, so nothing against the planner. It was totally user error. I don't know what I did, but I did something. And I'm gonna just letter my name on the line here, and I'll go ahead and share my sun, moon, and rising sign with you guys, just in case you are curious. So my sun sign is a Taurus, my moon sign is a Cancer, and my rising sign is a Virgo. Take with that information what you will. Okay, so the next few pages in this planner are mainly just information. There is a space in this book that you can fill out your own personal astrology birth chart. I'm not going to do that because one, this planner is really tiny and I don't feel like drawing this small on scale what my birth chart actually looks like. And two, because I pretty much have all of this information digitally and I don't need to have it on paper every single year that I would use this book. So it's kind of a useless page for me and I'm just going to leave it blank. If you're really interested in all of the contents in the journal, I highly recommend just, going to my original flip through of the video. You can see what's in here. I flipped through every single page, but for now, I'm basically just going to show you what I'm going to do with the pages I'm actually going to use. So I went ahead and flagged this first page here because this is the actual calendar page, like one of the first ones in the book. This one is the year at a glance. I'm actually not going to do anything on these pages whatsoever, but I want to tab this page because I reference the astrological reference guide all the time whenever I am studying the transits and aspects of the planets throughout the months. So with that, I'm going to use the same blank planner tabs that I used in my last setup, my health weeks. These are the rose color. These are from my shop. And I'm basically going to just put a blank tab here. I'm not going to write anything on it and just have a blank one to where I know I can reference this information whenever I want. So I'm just going to put a blank tab up here. I could write like astro info or something, but the whole front pages are all astrological information, so I feel like that's inaccurate, and I just being blank will help me more than anything else. The next section I want to talk about is so this is the next section that I use really regularly in this book, and that is the moon and its phases. This basically breaks down each cycle of the moon or each moon phase and gives you kind of a synopsis on the energy of that type of moon. So for instance, a full moon is where everything is coming to illumination. It is the peak. It is things coming to fruition. But at the same time, it's also we're letting go of what's no longer serving us. versus like a new moon is where there's new beginnings. This is time to set your intentions. The moon is fresh and brand new, and it's going to start its brand new cycle. And so all those new intentions go forward into the cycle. You can read into this if you want. I reference this page, like I said, when I'm doing any kind of daily notes. So I like to flag it with, again, another tab. And I put the tab on this side because when I pull it, I want it to open to the page that I want. I don't want it to sit on the page that I want to look at. All right, moving right along. Again, like I said, this book has a lot of reference information in the beginning, so there's all of that. And this is like the first, I guess, major page besides that year at a glance page that I'm going to talk about. So this is the 2024 moon phases and signs. Essentially, this is a bunch of moon phases for every month, and then there's a teeny tiny little teardrop underneath each one of those that you could color in. It is meant to be used as a like a menstruation tracker. I personally don't want to use it that way because I'm tracking my menstruation in my health planner, so I don't need to track it twice. It's like overkill information for me. But I don't really have a place that I'm tracking my meditation. So I figured, why not do that for this page instead? So I'll color in the little teardrop whenever I meditate. And I guess that'll be interesting to see for me. Like maybe I meditate in certain times of a moon phase, like a moon phase cycle. I don't know. But I am going to tab this again with a little tab. And then we're going to move on to the next section. So I'm actually going to just leave this little sticky note in here, and then I may come back later and write down meditation tracker up here, but we'll see. We'll see what I decide to do. Okay, so the next few pages, again, are more reference information. That is one thing that is not my favorite about this type of planner, is it's more of like a book with your information versus a planner, which I can get behind since that's kind of what I'm using it for. But I feel like if I were to call this a planner, it needs to have more planner things in it besides the first quarter of the book just being reference information. Anyways, the next page that I'm going to tab here is this page. So this is kind of like the beginning of the actual planner itself. So we have our new moon and full moon dates up here, all collectively for all of the months, all of the eclipses that will be happening in 2024, and then a snapshot of all of the retrograde and direct dates for the different planets, being Mercury, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, Pluto, and the artist also includes Chiron, which is an asteroid that is pretty large. So with that, I am going to flag this page as well. So whenever I actually use my Hobonichi Cousin or my Common Planner this year, I will reference that page and basically see what dates we're having any kind of major astrological things. And when I put it into my main planner, it helps me see, like, I don't know, the different energy I experience during those dates. So the next section in this book is actually the goals and intentions pages. I have pretty much set up all of my goals and intentions in my Common Planner. So I really was unsure if I wanted to use these pages for that again, just for redundancy. I think what I'm going to end up doing is just kind of doing a little journal entry for all of these pages, not necessarily like goal-based journal entry, but maybe like a letter to myself at the beginning of the year on how I'm doing spiritually, and then a letter to myself at the end of the year on how I'm doing spiritually, and then break that down further into like each category that it goes into. But I do want to answer this question here, which says, what are the 5 most important intentions for you this year? And I wrote them already down here, but I'm going to write them in the boxes. And my most important intentions are for my physical, my mental, my spiritual, my work, and my inspiration this year. So with that, physical is like my exercise and physical well-being. Mental is more of like knowledge and learning. Spiritual is more about like intuition. And I'll say faith or like belief, just to make that easier to shorten. Work is work, so career, but also like work-life balance for me, which I know is something that a lot of people struggle with, including myself. And then inspiration is like creativity, travel. I'll put curiosity even. And I probably misspelled some of those things, but it's okay. I don't really care. Okay, so moving on to these pages. I'm not actually going to write anything on these pages, but I am going to decorate them. So I have a bunch of PET tape clippings that I'm going to use. So I'm going to do this off camera really quick just because all I'm doing is decorating these pages. And I'll flip back through and show you what tapes I used. Spoiler alert, they're all from London Gifties because I am obsessed with her PET tapes right now. Okay, so I cut everything out and go ahead and taped it down just because the light, and this is going to be really glary, so this hopefully will be a little bit easier since I've already stuck everything down. But I used PET tape clippings, like I said, from London Gifties for every single one of these pages just because I'm obsessed. This one is from, I believe it's Celestial Goddesses is the tape, like what it's called. But what I intend to do for these pages, and I already kind of touched on this a little bit, is on this page is going to be like a letter to myself at the end of the current year, like the year I'm filming this, so like 2023. It'll be a letter to myself about spiritualness, like how I did this year or what my intentions are, I guess, for next year. Not necessarily like goals and intentions, but like just what do I want from this? Like what are my expectations? And then at the end of 2024, I will fill out the other side in a reflection of how this went. So think of this as kind of like almost like a diary entry almost. Like this is how I'm feeling now. And at the end of the year, I'm reflecting on those feelings. I'm hoping that makes sense. But basically for every section, I'm going to be doing the same thing. So like this would be the spiritual one. This next section is the mental one. So this is where I would talk about like knowledge or learning, languages, any kind of mental strength and exercises I'm doing, whatever. So that would be more like the mental side of things for me here. And these clippings are from the PET tape. It is Dark Academia Arts and Crafts. I think it's the artist one. This one is from I think it's Cozy Cottage or Warm Cozy Cottage. And this is the work section. So for work, I would do something probably for my dandelion diaries and also my farm or anything like that. And then for next year, who knows what will happen by the end of 2024 with either of those things. Then for the love category, this is the Dark Academia Bookworms, I think. I went ahead and used this guy because he looks really similar to my boyfriend. Kind of. I mean, my boyfriend has dark hair and olive skin, and this guy has dark hair and olive skin, so I figured it was close enough. Anyways, but I also wanted to include my stack of books over here from this clippings because I feel like my love is also in books and writing and planners and like old school type things like analog systems and paper. It's something I love, so I wanted to include it in the love section. The next section is wealth. This is from the Celestial Goddesses again, I believe. I figured she looked very, I don't know, put together, like wealthy, like her skin's all glowy, and this just reminds me of like a mansion. Not that I want to live in a mansion or that I want to look like her by any means. It's just I figured these two were more wealthy looking. I don't know, because of like the gold and goddessy type vibes. Yeah. The next section is social, and I picked a more like tea tape for that. This I believe is Tea Girls with Tea or something like that. It's the holographic one. I just want to zoom in on this with you guys, and I want you to look at their hands. This is one thing that I find hilarious with AI art is they can't figure out how many fingers we as humans have. So each one of these girls has like 7 fingers on each hand. Anyways, I find it hilarious. but I figured tea would go really well with the social section because it's more of like relationships and partnerships, or like socialization, spilling the tea, gossip, anything like that. I figured it was pretty spot on. Then we have the physical section. I went ahead and did like a physical house and a girl who looks kind of like me. My hair is a little bit curlier than that, but anyways, I figured physical is more of like my physical exercise, physical well-being. So a happy body and a happy home probably would make a happy physical me. And then the last section is inspiration. I did these two are from, I think it's the same Celestial Goddess tape. I'm not going to lie. I pulled a lot from the same sections. But I figured inspiration-wise, butterflies are always inspiring to me. And then this is like moon and sun both on a face. I figured that was pretty inspiring to look at too. So like I said, I will be doing a letter to myself on each page. One for the end of this year and then one for the end of 2024 when the planner ends. The next section in this book is new to me. So this is the first time I've seen this in a Magic of Eye space. This is called the Bird's Eye View of 2024. So it has all of the new moon and full moon dates and almost a calendex kind of appearance. I went back and forth on how I wanted to use this page because it's kind of interesting. It reminds me a lot of like the Hobonichi Weeks year at a glance or calendex pages. And I decided I think I want to do it as like a color of the day. So I don't know if I'm unique in this way, but there are certain days that I feel like have a color to them. Almost like an aura is the best way I can describe it. And so whatever color I see for that day, like I want to document that. I hope that comes across okay. That's the best way I can describe it. I could use this as a mood tracker if I wasn't already doing that in my health planner. I could use this as a way to document any kind of, exercise I did, any kind of reading I did. It's really good for any kind of tracking on this page, honestly, but I think I want to do it as a color of the day because I'm mainly using this for gratitude, and that's something I feel that's really close to that for me because it's more like in my brain and like how it works in a way. Anyways, I'm going to tab this page, and I actually am going to write on this tab and put color of the day. And that's pretty much all I'm going to say about this page. When I start using this book in January, I will document every color, and I'll share this with you guys. I mean, I don't have a problem sharing with this. It's just, I think it's, I don't know, I feel like it's really unique to me. So hopefully y'all can use this as some kind of tracker page that I didn't think of. Okay, so here comes the beginning of the actual like planner pages. So this is the January section. For the actual tabs that I'm going to be using this by month, because this is actually broken down, like, so you have your month page, you have the month on 2 pages, like a breakdown page, and then it starts your weeklies. So every month is like together. So I'm going to tab out each month with these. These are from the Coffee Monsters Co. This is the mini monthly tabs in the pastel colorway. I figured it was rainbowy enough that it would match the kind of vibe that I'm going for with this. Anyways, I'm going to go ahead and start tabbing with these, but I'm going to do from the back forward like I talked about in my last video. So we're going to start with December. Okay, so that is pretty much it for tabs. I think they turned out pretty good, not gonna lie. I do like the rainbow colors with this planner just because I feel like they fit really well. I'm not gonna lie. Okay, so for the actual use of the planner section for me, I don't really plan on doing anything for these pages here. I love the cover page that the artist designed. I don't want to do anything to it. I think it's gorgeous. If I were to do anything, honestly, I'd probably just color it in with like colored pencil just because it's like a line drawing, but I really don't want to touch this. I think it looks really nice as it is. Then for the monthly page, I will likely go through this every month when I use the planner and just decorate this in some way with like a washi tape or something and maybe write like the month somewhere on it, even though it's up here. I mainly want the information on these pages. So each one of these days has all of the aspect information, which is what I reference for my astrological practice. Doesn't necessarily have to do anything with what I intend to use this for with gratitude, but I mean, if I wanted to come up with another idea for this, maybe I would do like, I don't know, a small picture of something like an emotion sticker, or maybe I draw like how my mood or something on these pages. I don't really see any other use for the monthly pages just because of how much stuff is in each square. I don't think you could use it for much else unless you wanted to use it for like coloring in the square or something. I don't think you could write anything in it without covering up the information, which if you didn't care about the information, that would be fine. But I care about the info, so I'm not going to touch anything on this page. So for every month, you get a monthly goals and intentions page, and then a weekly goals and actionable steps page. I intend to do this as like a key moment I'm grateful for every single week. So every week I will reference this page, write in what I'm grateful for that week, correlating to each week. For the monthly side, I'm going to use this as more of like a review page. So I'll probably end up covering up some of this other stuff with stickers is my guess. But I plan on doing this as like a monthly review page with like how my gratitude is growing. Like what am I continuing to be grateful for? Maybe how I'm feeling. Am I feeling more positive, more negative, whatever? But just having a very small space to journal about it without having to write too much, which I don't know, that sounds weird. So I still have like my separate journal that I'm going to be writing everything in every day, like feelings, brain dumps, morning pages, whatever. I just want to focus this mainly towards gratitude. So this would be like a specific entry for this month. How is my gratitude practice affecting me? And is it good or bad kind of situation? And then I will do that for every single month. So so key happy moment or gratitude moment for each week. Review for the month. How's my gratitude practice going? For the weekly pages, this is what I mean by you can't really utilize this for much more than a small list or a small journal entry or something like that, just because everything is very compact. It works great for, like I said, small lists of stuff, but other than that, it's not really for me meant to be used as a planner in the sense that I like to use a planner. With that being said, each one of these days is basically going to be either 1, answering a journal prompt, or 2, writing down what I'm grateful for. If I cannot come up with something that I am grateful for every single day, I'm going to be surprised with myself. But I'm sure I will have some days where I have written down the same thing I'm grateful for multiple days in a row, in which case I probably wouldn't elaborate on that, maybe answer a journal prompt or something. Also, since Saturday and Sunday are really small, I'll see if I can fit everything in that space. If not, I may end up just referencing a page number in my big journal or something. But for now, that's what I intend to use all of these pages for. So all of that's going to stay the same for all of these weeks, basically. And then at the end of every month, you get a new moon intention page and a full moon intention page. I actually will use these for the moon phases. I'll just write down a small journal entry for the new moon and a small journal entry for the full moon and go from there. I don't really see me using this in any other way. Perhaps like another monthly review on 2 pages or something, but I think the one I'm planning on doing at the beginning is going to be just fine. So then you move on to February. same situation. You have the monthly, this would be like the monthly review page, weekly gratitude, like each week what I'm most grateful for, and then moving on into the weeklies. So it's going to continue like that for all of the months. So I'm not going to flip through all of those pages. And then at the last month, so December of 2024, there is actually more pages for the moons. So there's like a new moon, a full moon, and then another new moon. So we have 2 new moons in December. I will use those pages for the moon phases and like a small entry for that. Then there is the end of year review. I don't feel like this is enough space for me. So at least for like a full end of year review of like, how the heck was your year? Write it all down on this tiny 4-inch piece of paper, which I know I picked this size. Okay. I'm not hating on this planner. I love this little planner. It's just, I'm not going to be using it for this. Like this isn't what I intend to use it for. Instead, I'm going to do it as like a year end review of my gratitude. Like, how did my gratitude practice work for a year? Especially since I have such a weird, I guess, thought process when it comes to having a book solely dedicated to gratitude. I want to see how this works for me. I want to see if I stick with it, number one. And number two, I want to see, do I become a more positive person by the end of the year? And I want to write that down. Or do I get more negative? Or do I kind of stay the same? Like, I want to see how this works out for me. It's kind of an experiment for myself, if I'm being honest. Anyways, that's what I intend to use this last page for, is kind of like end of year review of gratitude, not just of the year as a whole. Pretty much everything else in this book is just astrology information, which I do reference every now and then. I do not use the ephemeris pages. I think these are so cool though, with all of the like astrology aspects, transits by degree and everything. Maybe someday I will use this, but it's just fun information to have in this book that is kind of useless for me for the purposes of this book. Granted, I'm kind of trying to manipulate this book to use for me so I can justify having it in my lineup, just because I don't really need a gratitude journal. Like I said, it's more of an experiment to see how it's going to help me in the long run. With that being said, there are notes pages in the back of this book, which I went back and forth for, I don't know, a couple of reasons. I thought maybe if I needed more space on my Saturday or Sunday, I could come back here and finish that out. But there is literally only like, I think 6 pages. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, there's only 6 pages back here. And for 52 weekends, 6 pages I don't think is going to be enough if I run out of space. So with that, I'm going to stick with my original plan and go to reference a page number in my bigger journal if I needed to write more space for that spot. So what I intend to use the note pages for is journal prompts. And I haven't really found all of the ones that I want to use, but there are roughly 22 to 24 lines on each of these pages. So you could technically do a little over 120 prompts if you did like 1 per line. And so I'm going to try to write down a bunch of journal prompts that I feel are interesting questions to answer, and I may correlate them into the pages in the book here, like if I don't have something I want to write down on a weekday, or I may reference this in like my bigger journal and actually answer the questions there and see if there's, I don't know, anything interesting that comes out of my brain with that. I'll try to share whatever journal prompts I end up using, because I know this is a really hot topic when it comes to journaling, because we all get stuck sometimes and don't know what to write about. And having a question you can just ask yourself sometimes can get that creative juice flowing and words will just pour out of your brain. So with that, I will share my journal prompts when I decide which ones I want to use. But for now, that's what I intend to use these pages for. I'm just not actually going to put anything down today with you guys. Okay, so the back few pages here, I mainly just want to decorate with some more of the floral stickers I have. I'm trying to use my stash. I've talked about this, I think, a couple of videos now. And these are from Sticky Club. I think they're called Sticker Flakes. Anyways, I want to kind of have these just be here. Not to cover up her drawing, but just because I'm trying to use up my stickers. And I felt like it fit really good there, and it matched the kind of pastel florally colorful vibes that I had going on in most of the stickers in this planner. I think it looks good. And see, look, it matches like the florals over here. I don't know. I felt like it was a nice way to use a sticker that I've been hoarding for a while. So, and with that, there is, yeah, that's pretty much it. So I'm going to put this last one, I think, maybe underneath this, on top of this. Yeah. This is another one of those pages that I blemished. So I don't know if, like I said, what I did, but I definitely did something. I probably was too rough with it when I was changing clear cover. Like I put a clear cover on it or something, and I probably sat it down in something. I don't know. I'm not that worried about it. It's just I want to cover it up because I don't like the way it looks. Ta-da, magic. Okay, so the last page here, like I said, I really want to finish out with that other Leela Journals die cut, just because I feel like it's kind of fun to have like a day, night kind of thing. I don't know. And I have some more of the clippings from London Gifties. This washi, I believe, is like Celestial Castles or something. It was really colorful, and that's what I liked about it. But I'm basically going to do the exact same thing that I did in the front, which is put these down and then stick this on top of it. Ooh, like this. And I think I'm going to stick with that. Okay, I am done with the back cover now. All right, I like it. I feel like it's simple and it's going to just be easy to go in, write what I want to write down, and move on with my day. I don't want this to be a super challenging book for me to have to really try hard, and I feel like with the setup I did, it's gonna be really good for that. Why do I feel like that just shifted weird? That was weird. Anyways, the last thing that I'm going to do with this is actually put a clear cover on it. So I talked about this in my unboxing video. The old Magic of Eye planners I have, the foiling on the front rubs off with use. I mean, you touch it a lot, the foiling rubs off, you can't read the year anymore, whatever. And I discovered that the Hobonichi Han clear covers fit these little babies. So the A6 Hobonichi Han cover, clear cover, fits the Pocket Magic of Eye, and the A5 Hobonichi Han clear cover would fit the regular size Magic of Eye or the A5 journals. Or not like the journals, but like the planner. I don't think they fit the journals because the journals are much skinnier. But anyways, that is basically what I'm going to do now, is put the clear cover on, just to protect the foiling, to make it last as long as possible, because I think it's absolutely gorgeous, and one of the reasons why I really enjoy this planner, because of the artwork and the design and everything like that. Interesting. So it looks like the foiling may already be rubbing off into the cover. Hold on, I need to show you guys this. So I don't know if the camera's going to pick that up, but there is a tiny little foil spot right there. I think it's picking it up. And that is from the inside. It's on the inside. It is the back of this. So I guess if you put the clear cover on, you risk the foil transferring onto the clear cover. But if you don't put the clear cover on, then my guess is it would just rub off anyways. That's a struggle, man. I mean, I know they're not intended to have clear covers on them, but I really was just trying to preserve the foiling. So, yeah, I'm still going to leave the clear cover on because I wanted to preserve the front more than anything else. And yeah, that's what I'm going to go with for this. Anyways, let's do a little flip through. So opening up the front page here, I have that Leela Journals die cut with some London Gifties PET tape and a 2024 rainbow die cut from my shop. I did the opening page here with a little Sticky Club vinyl or sticker flake. It's just a floral one. Like I said, I just had a blemish on the front of the page here and I wanted to cover that up. I went ahead and wrote my name and then all of my astro information just because I think it's interesting and I like that there's a little spot for that in the front. I didn't do anything for a lot of these pages because they are all reference information. I don't really do much with them. All I did was tab the pages that I use the most with this. So that would be like this page here, the moon phases, and then like this tracker page. And I have one more, the yearly page. For the tracker page, I plan on tracking my meditation habit through this. I will go ahead and color in the tiny little teardrop under each one of the moons when I meditate. This is intended to be used as like a menstruation tracker, but since I am tracking that in another book, I felt that this was more appropriate for the gratitude journal that I am intending this for. So yeah. The next tab, like I said, is the year, one of the yearly pages. So this is like all of the full and new moon information, the eclipse information, and the retrograde and direct dates. I usually transfer this information into my main planner by month, just to help me see when our new moons are, full moons are, eclipses, and any kind of fun retrogrades or directs that I'm interested in. Mainly Mercury is the one that affects me the most, just because, I don't know, I feel like communication really does stagnate with me when Mercury is in retrograde. Moving on, the next section here is like the goals and intentions pages. I don't actually plan on using these as goals and intention pages. I just want to reference them for like a letter to myself kind of situation. So yeah, I'll get to that in a second. But the first page here asks, what are the 5 most important intentions for you this year? And I went ahead and answered that with physical, mental, spiritual, work, and inspiration. Those correlate with the goals that I have in my common planner and my Hobonichi. For the first spread here, this is the spiritual page. This is what I was saying I would like to write, like a letter to myself at the end of 2023 and then at the end of 2024. Just to see how I'm feeling in this realm. Maybe I'll write about like what I'm grateful for spiritually for this section, and then like for this section, what I'm grateful for mentally or something. I really just want this to be mainly focused towards gratitude, and keep it kind of like short, sweet, and simple, since it is more of a pocket-sized journal, and I'm not going to have a whole bunch of space to write a whole bunch of things. But I decorated all of these pages with London Gifties PET tape clippings, just from various rolls that I had in my collection. I absolutely love her tapes, and I feel like with this planner, since it has the cream paper, it needs to have clear stickers or tape that can blend into the page a little bit better than a white background. The next section in this book is the bird's eye view of 2024. As I talked about a little bit already, and I think a few sections, not just this video, this is new to this planner for 2024, and I intend on using this as like a color of the day. So whatever color I feel I see in the day is the color I will write down into the square. You could easily use this as like a tracker page, like you would use in your Hobonichi weeks, in the Calendex pages in the front. You could use this as, I don't know, a way to track your meditation instead of putting it in the front pages, or you could write this like a little word every single day or something. There's a lot of different things you could use this for, but that's kind of what's coming to my head right now. I then tabbed out all of the months using the Coffee Monsters Co. pastel rainbow tabs, and for each month I intend to do nothing. For the monthly pages, I actually reference the astrological information on these pages more than anything else. So I will likely go in and decorate with like maybe some washi or something, but that's pretty much it. I mainly just use this as reference. I don't really do anything else with these pages. For the monthly goals intention side, I plan on doing a monthly review of my gratitude. How's my gratitude doing? Am I seeing any benefits? Seeing any negatives? Whatever. Then for the weekly side, I want to do this as like a weekly gratitude. So like what was I most grateful for this week kind of situation. Like I put key moment from each week, but it's basically like what am I most grateful for each week. And then for each weekly section, this is where I will write down my daily gratitude, what I'm grateful for, maybe why I'm grateful for it, if I have enough space, depending on what I write. And if I really can't come up with anything to write, I will reference my journal prompts, which brings me to the back of the pages. So after all of the months are done, there is notes pages back here. And on these notes pages, I intend to write down a bunch of journal prompts that I feel are good prompts for me or just in general. I will end up sharing this whenever I figure out which prompts I want to use. I have no problem sharing prompts. I feel they're very helpful when it comes to journaling and just getting the juices flowing. But since there is only 6 pages of notes, I'm going to have to try to limit myself to what I write down and yeah, go from that. But this is what I intend to use this section for. I then just stuck down a few more stickers that I had just for fun and then closed out with these stickers in the back. And that is pretty much it for my Magic of I little astrology pocket planner. That was probably like the fastest setup I have done out of all of my setups. But if I'm being honest, this book is mainly reference information for me with a very small use of using it for gratitude. So it is going to be a pretty quick book in general for me. Alrighty, that is pretty much it for this little Magic of I planner here. I am really excited to use this just for the very simplistic use that I have put for it, gratitude, and nothing else. I do use the astro information with this mainly, which is why I bought the planner in the first place, but I'm excited to try to use it as still like a little journal book, so I'm not just wasting paper and using it as a reference information, but we'll see how the year turns out. If you're interested in any of the other planner setups I have done, I will have a playlist in the description. I have done quite a few now, mainly with common planners and Hobonichi planners if you are interested in those. I will also leave it up in the cards that way too, in case the link in the description just stops working or something. Anyways, I want to thank you guys so much for watching. If you've made it this far in the video, if you are using a Magic of I planner, I would love to know what you're using it for, what color you got. Did you get the little one like I did, or did you get the big one? I'm always curious. I think this is a really fun brand of products, very useful information if you like astrology or astronomy. It's such a compact little space. I'd love to see what people use them for, just because I always struggle to find what to write down. Anyways, thanks again so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.